Have you ever felt the sting of chasing someone who doesn't seem to care as much as you do? Maybe it's that friend who only calls you when they need something, or that person you're romantically interested in who always seems just out of reach. It's like pouring all your energy into a bottomless pit, exhausting, humiliating, and worst of all, completely pointless. The harder you try to pull them closer, the further away they drift. It's almost as if the universe is mocking you. But here's the thing most people don't realize. This isn't just bad luck. It's a natural reaction rooted in human psychology. The more you pursue, the more you signal desperation. And desperation is the fastest way to repel anyone. But don't feel bad, because we've all been there. Chasing someone feels like the only way to hold on when you fear losing them. Yet the harder you hold on, the more they slip through your fingers. Why is that? Why does chasing someone, or even something, never seem to work? It's because the very act of chasing sends out a silent message to the world. I need this more than I need myself. You're saying, I'll give up my peace, my power, and my sense of self just to have you or this thing in my life. And let's be honest, no one respects or is drawn to someone willing to trade their own dignity just to get closer. Here's where Stoicism comes in. The ancient Stoics taught us something profound. The only thing you truly own in this life is your own mind, not the approval of others, not their attention, not even their love. Your value comes from within, not from anyone else's validation. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and one of history's greatest Stoic philosophers, put it this way: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Let that sink in for a moment. The power to change how others treat you starts with changing how you see yourself. When you chase, you give all your power away to them. But when you stop chasing, when you reclaim your energy and focus it inward, something incredible happens. You start to radiate self-respect, confidence, and independence. And those qualities, they're magnetic. People can't help but notice when you stand in your own power. Here's the paradox. The moment you stop running after them is the moment they start noticing you. It's the moment you shift from being the seeker to being the sought after. Why? Because people are naturally drawn to what they can't easily have. The harder you chase, the less they value your presence. But when you let go, when you show them you don't need them to complete you, they begin to see your worth. So, here's what we're doing today. We're breaking down this cycle of chasing and rejection. I'll show you why running after people, or even opportunities, rarely works. I'll reveal how embracing the Stoic principle of detachment can completely transform your relationships, your mindset, and your life. And most importantly, I'll give you actionable steps to shift from being the chaser to the one they can't ignore. Right now, I want you to make a declaration. Take a moment to like this video. It's a simple act, but it tells the world, I'm ready to take back my power. Then go to the comments and type this phrase, I choose my own power. By doing this, you're setting an intention. You're telling yourself and the universe that you are no longer chasing anyone. You're standing still, confident, and unshaken. Stick with me, because what we're about to uncover will not only change how you view yourself, but will also change the way others see you. And it all starts here. Let's talk about the flawed mindset behind chasing, because understanding this is the first step to breaking free. When you chase someone, it's not just an action, it's a reflection of a deeper belief system. Whether you realize it or not, chasing comes from a place of fear and insecurity. It's the fear of being alone, the fear of being forgotten, the fear of not being enough. And when you operate from fear, you send out signals that others can sense, even if they're not aware of it. Those signals say, I need you more than you need me. I'm willing to lower myself just to have you in my life. Here's where it gets even more dangerous. Chasing isn't just about the fear of losing someone, it's also about control. Think about it. When you chase, you're trying to control the outcome of a relationship, a situation, or even another person's feelings. You're saying, if I just try harder, they'll notice me. If I just give more, they'll love me. If I don't stop chasing, they'll eventually stay. But the truth is, you can't control other people, only your response to them. The Stoics had a word for this kind of futile effort: prohairesis, or the power of choice. Epictetus, another great Stoic philosopher, taught that the only things truly within our control are our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes. Everything else, what others think, feel, or do, is outside of our control. So when you chase someone, you're putting all your energy into something you were never meant to control in the first place. No wonder it feels so draining. Now, let's break down what happens psychologically when you chase someone. Humans have a deep instinctual response to being pursued. We run. Think about it. If someone's chasing you, your first reaction is to protect your space, to create distance. It's survival. The same principle applies in relationships. When you chase someone, you unconsciously communicate that their value is higher than yours. And when they sense that imbalance, they instinctively withdraw. People want to feel like they're choosing you, not being hunted by you. But this doesn't just happen in personal relationships, it happens in all areas of life. When you're desperate for a job, the employer senses it. When you're too eager to impress someone, they notice. Desperation is a repellent. Why? Because it shows a lack of self-worth. And here's the kicker: people can only value you as much as you value yourself. This is where Stoicism offers a powerful shift in perspective. Instead of chasing others, Stoicism teaches us to chase excellence within ourselves. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." In other words, stop wasting time and energy trying to win someone else's approval. Use that energy to become the kind of person who commands respect, not through effort, but through your very presence. Right now, you might be thinking, okay, but if I stop chasing, won't I lose them completely? And that's the fear talking again. The truth is, when you stop running after them, you give them space to notice you. More importantly, you give yourself the space to notice your own worth. You start to realize that you're not incomplete without them. They were never the missing piece. You've always been whole. So, here's your challenge. Stop chasing, not because you're giving up, but because you're leveling up. When you redirect all that energy inward, toward building your confidence, your skills, and your peace, you become someone others can't help but notice. If this is hitting home for you, take a second to like this video. It's your first step toward reclaiming your energy. And drop this empowering phrase in the comments: I am in control of my own destiny. Let's remind ourselves and each other of the strength we hold when we stop chasing and start choosing ourselves. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter. Why chasing doesn't just fail, it backfires. When you chase someone, you're unknowingly pushing them further away. This might seem unfair, even cruel, but it's rooted in both human psychology and natural behavior. Here's what happens on a subconscious level. When you chase someone, you're telling them, without words, that they have more value than you. You're saying, I need you to validate me, to make me feel whole. This creates an imbalance. Humans are naturally drawn to equality in relationships, whether they're romantic, platonic, or professional. But when one person starts to chase, they tilt the scales. The chaser becomes the one who gives, while the other becomes the one who takes. And let me ask you, who respects someone who lowers themselves to gain approval? Not many. Here's a truth that might sting a little. When you chase, you give up your power. Think of it like this. Imagine someone is running toward you, frantically trying to grab your attention. What's your first instinct? You back up. Not because you're trying to be cruel, but because their desperation feels overwhelming. Now flip that scenario. Imagine someone standing still, calm and composed, completely at peace. They aren't chasing. They're waiting. They've created a sense of mystery, and suddenly you're the one intrigued. This is the power of stillness. The Stoics understood this principle thousands of years ago. They taught that we must cultivate a sense of apatheia, or freedom from passion-driven impulses. When you let go of the need to pursue others, you create an aura of self-control and composure that people find irresistible. In modern terms, this is called high-value behavior. You're showing that you're not desperate for anyone's time or attention because your life is already full and meaningful. Here's where dark psychology comes in. People are naturally drawn to what they perceive as scarce or hard to get. It's called the scarcity principle, and it's one of the most powerful forces in human interaction. The harder something is to obtain, the more valuable it becomes. When you chase someone, you destroy that sense of scarcity. You make yourself too available, too easy to predict. But when you stop chasing, when you remove yourself from the equation, you create a void, and nature abhors a vacuum. Suddenly, they begin to notice your absence. They wonder what changed. Their curiosity drives them toward you. But it's not just about playing games or manipulating people. This is about genuine self-worth. When you stop chasing, you're not just taking a step back from others. You're stepping into yourself. You're telling the world, I don't need to beg for what I deserve. If it's meant for me, it will come. And guess what? That confidence is magnetic. Let me share a quick example. Think of someone you admire. It could be a celebrity, a leader, or even a friend. Are they constantly chasing others, trying to win approval? No, they carry themselves with confidence. They stand still and let the world come to them. That's the energy you need to embody. So, here's the lesson. Chasing repels, but self-respect attracts. When you stop running after others, you allow them to come to you, not because you force them, but because they're naturally drawn to your energy. This is the secret to flipping the dynamic. Right now, take a moment to remind yourself of your own power. Like this video to claim your commitment to self-respect, and leave this empowering phrase in the comments, I am the prize. Write it down and let it sink in. You are the one who sets the standard, not the one begging to meet someone else's. Now let's talk about one of the most transformative tools you can use in life, indifference. If chasing repels others, indifference draws them in. But here's the thing. True indifference isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about genuinely letting go of the need to control or influence how others perceive you. It's about creating peace within yourself, no matter the outcome. In Stoicism, indifference isn't apathy. It's mastery. It's the ability to separate what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and choices, from what you can't, like someone else's approval, affection, or behavior. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is where indifference comes in. When you stop reacting, stop chasing, and stop trying to force things to go your way, you become unshakable. And that unshakable presence is deeply attractive. Here's why this works on a psychological level. People crave what they can't have, or what seems just out of reach. When you stop chasing, you send a signal that you're not desperate, that you're not dependent on anyone else to feel complete. This creates intrigue. Why? Because we're drawn to people who seem self-sufficient, those who radiate confidence and mystery. Indifference makes you magnetic because it forces others to wonder, why don't they need me? What do they know that I don't? Think about someone in your life who seems effortlessly cool, someone who doesn't beg for attention, but somehow gets it anyway. They're not chasing anyone, they're simply living their life, focused on their goals, and content in their own company. That's the energy of indifference. It's not about being cold or distant, it's about being so grounded in yourself that whether someone stays or goes, it doesn't shake you. Now, this doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It means you stop needing them to define your worth. You stop trying to control their feelings or their actions. And here's the irony. When you let go of the need to be noticed or validated, That's when people start noticing you. They start valuing your time and attention because it's no longer something you give away freely. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're at a party. There's someone in the room who's trying too hard, talking loudly, seeking approval, and constantly checking to see if people are paying attention to them. Now, imagine someone else who's just standing calmly, radiating quiet confidence. They're not trying to impress anyone. They're simply there, comfortable in their own skin. Who do you find more intriguing? 9 times out of 10, it's the person who isn't trying. That's the power of indifference. This principle applies to every area of life. When you stop chasing a job, you focus your energy on becoming so good they can't ignore you. When you stop chasing love, you focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts the right partner. When you stop chasing approval, you free yourself to live authentically, and people respect authenticity far more than desperation. Marcus Aurelius put it best: "Be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it." This is the energy of indifference. You are the rock. The waves, other people's opinions, behaviors, and decisions, can crash all they want, but you remain steady. If this resonates with you, take a moment to internalize this truth. Like this video to affirm your commitment to standing firm in your own power, and drop this empowering phrase in the comments: "I am unshakable." Say it, believe it, and embody it. Here's a reality check that most people avoid. You have no control over others, not their thoughts, not their actions, not their feelings, and chasing, whether it's people, opportunities, or approval, is just a way of trying to control something that isn't yours to control. But what if I told you that the one thing you can control is not only enough, it's the key to everything you've ever wanted? In Stoicism, this principle is everything. Epictetus taught that we should focus solely on what's within our power, our thoughts, our choices, and our actions. Everything else, other people, external circumstances, the opinions of others, is outside of our control. And the moment you stop wasting energy on the things you can't control, you gain an incredible amount of freedom. You stop chasing and you start living. Let's break this down. When you try to control someone else, whether by chasing their attention, convincing them to like you, or bending over backward to please them, you're fighting a losing battle. The harder you push, the more resistance you meet. Why? Because people instinctively guard their autonomy. They don't want to feel manipulated or coerced, even if your intentions are good. This is why chasing doesn't just fail, it pushes people further away. But when you focus on yourself, on becoming the best version of who you are, you shift the dynamic completely. You stop chasing approval and start attracting it. Why? Because people are drawn to those who are in control of themselves. They respect someone who values their own time and energy, someone who doesn't need constant validation to feel worthy. Think of yourself as a garden. If you spend all your time trying to tend to someone else's yard, your own becomes neglected. But if you focus on cultivating your own space, planting seeds, nurturing growth, creating beauty, it becomes something others want to be a part of. They'll gravitate towards you, not because you chased them, but because what you've built is irresistible. Here's where this gets even more powerful. When you master self-control, you also master your emotions. Imagine this. Someone rejects you, and instead of spiraling into self-doubt or panic, you stay calm. You remind yourself that their opinion doesn't define you. Instead of reacting, you respond with grace and confidence. This level of self-mastery not only protects your peace, but also commands respect. People can't help but notice when you refuse to be shaken. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, summed it up perfectly. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This is the essence of controlling what you can. When you direct your energy inward toward what you can influence, your mindset, your habits, your purpose, you become unstoppable. And here's the secret. When you stop chasing others, you become the person they chase. Take a moment to reflect on this. Are you pouring your energy into things you can't control, or are you focusing on yourself? If this idea resonates, hit that like button right now and declare your power. And drop this phrase in the comments. I control my destiny. Let's create a wave of empowerment together. Here's something powerful, almost counterintuitive, that most people never realize. The less you try to pull someone toward you, the more they're drawn to you. It's called reverse magnetism, and it's one of the most fascinating dynamics in human psychology. When you stop chasing, you create a shift that triggers intrigue, respect, and even attraction. It's not manipulation. It's about aligning with how human nature truly works. Let's start with the psychology. People are naturally drawn to what feels scarce. This is called the scarcity principle, and it's one of the most studied phenomena in behavioral psychology. When something or someone is readily available, it's often taken for granted. But the moment it becomes less accessible, its perceived value skyrockets. Think about it. Why are luxury items so desirable? Not because they're inherently better, but because they're rare. The same principle applies to you. When you're chasing someone, you're making yourself overly available. You're showing them that your time, energy, and attention are easy to obtain. And because of that, they subconsciously start to devalue you. But the moment you step back, when you stop responding immediately, stop prioritizing them over yourself, and stop making them the center of your world, they begin to notice your absence. This creates a psychological vacuum, a sense of, what changed? Why aren't they chasing me anymore? And that curiosity can be powerful. But there's more to it than just scarcity. Reverse magnetism works because it taps into one of the deepest desires in human nature, the desire for autonomy. People want to feel like they're making their own choices, not being forced into them. When you chase someone, you take away their sense of autonomy. It feels like pressure, even if you don't mean it that way. But when you let go, when you stop chasing and focus on yourself, you give them the space to choose you freely. And that freedom makes your presence far more appealing. Now let's connect this to Stoicism. The Stoics believed that by mastering your desires, you free yourself from the need to control others. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." When you let go of the desire to chase, you're not just freeing the other person, you're freeing yourself. And that freedom creates an aura of strength and independence that's deeply attractive. Here's how this works in practice. Imagine you've been chasing someone's attention, texting them constantly, always being the first to reach out, rearranging your life to fit theirs. Now imagine stepping back. You stop texting first. You focus on your own growth, your goals, your happiness. At first they might not notice, but eventually they will. And when they do, they'll start to wonder, why aren't they chasing me anymore? Did I lose them? This subtle shift flips the dynamic entirely. They begin to seek you out, not because you forced them to, but because your absence made them realize your value. But here's the key. You have to be genuine in letting go. This isn't about playing games. Reverse magnetism only works when your focus truly shifts inward, when you stop chasing because you found fulfillment in yourself, not because you're trying to trick someone into paying attention to you. Think of it like this. You're not pulling them toward you, you're drawing them in by standing firm in your own power. When you embody confidence, self-respect, and independence, you become someone worth noticing, and that's far more powerful than any chase could ever be. If this resonates with you, it's time to commit to standing in your own strength. Like this video to claim your independence and drop this phrase in the comments. I attract by being, not chasing. Let that sink in. Your worth doesn't depend on how hard you try. It depends on how fully you own who you are. Letting go. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But if you've ever been stuck in the cycle of chasing someone or something, you know how hard it can feel. The fear of losing them, the what-if thoughts, the urge to send just one more text. It's like an invisible chain pulling you back. But here's the good news. Letting go isn't about giving up. It's about taking your power back. It's about freeing yourself from the exhausting need to control what was never yours to control in the first place. So how do you let go effectively? It starts with understanding what letting go really means. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you give up on people or your goals. It means you release your attachment to the outcome. It's saying, I've done my part, and now I trust that what's meant for me will come. This is a mindset shift that requires practice, but once you embrace it, it's life-changing. The Stoics had a powerful exercise for this called premeditatio malorum, or negative visualization. They would imagine the worst-case scenario, not to dwell on fear, but to prepare their minds. For example, if you're afraid of losing someone, take a moment to visualize that reality. What if they don't respond? What if they walk away? It might sound painful, but here's the secret. By facing the possibility head-on, you strip it of its power over you. You realize that even if the worst happens, you'll survive. You'll still have your strength, your dignity, and your ability to create a meaningful life. Next, focus on reclaiming your energy. When you chase someone, you're pouring all your time and effort into them. But what if you redirected that energy toward yourself? Start small. Set goals that excite you. Go to the gym, pick up a new hobby, focus on your career, or spend time with people who uplift you. Every time you feel the urge to chase, remind yourself, this energy belongs to me now. The more you invest in yourself, the less you'll feel the need to seek validation from others. Another powerful tool is journaling. Take a few minutes every day to write down your thoughts, your fears, and your progress. Journaling is like holding a mirror up to your mind. It helps you see where you're holding on too tightly and where you need to let go. Write about the things you can control and commit to letting go of the rest. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Here's a practical tip. Create space for stillness. When you're in the habit of chasing, your mind is constantly running, strategizing, overthinking, wondering what the other person is doing. To break that pattern, practice mindfulness. Even 5 minutes of deep breathing or meditation can help you recenter and release those anxious thoughts. Remind yourself that you're not losing anything by letting go, you're gaining your peace. And finally, surround yourself with reminders of your worth. Whether it's affirmations, uplifting books, or friends who remind you how valuable you are, make it a priority to fill your life with positivity. When you recognize your own value, you stop needing anyone else to prove it to you. Here's your challenge. The next time you feel the urge to chase, stop and take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what would happen if I let go right now? What would I gain? Then choose yourself. Choose your peace. Choose your power. If this idea speaks to you, let's make it real. Like this video to affirm your commitment to letting go and type this empowering phrase in the comments, I let go and I grow. By doing this, you're not just saying it, you're declaring it to yourself and to the world. Now, let's get to the part you've been waiting for. What actually happens when you stop chasing? What changes, both in your life and in the way others respond to you? The answer is powerful, and it's why letting go is one of the most transformative decisions you'll ever make. First, let's talk about you. When you stop chasing, the first thing you'll notice is how much lighter you feel. It's as if a weight you didn't even realize you were carrying suddenly lifts. That's the freedom of reclaiming your energy. You're no longer wasting it on overthinking, strategizing, or trying to get someone to see your worth. Instead, you're investing that energy where it belongs, into yourself. And this shift is profound. You'll start to feel more confident, more peaceful, and more in control of your life. Here's what else happens. You become more attractive. Not just in the romantic sense, but in every area of life. Why? Because when you stop chasing, you start being. You're no longer trying to impress or seek approval. You're simply showing up as your authentic, confident self. And people are drawn to authenticity. They can sense when someone values themselves, and that energy is magnetic. Suddenly, the people who once overlooked you start paying attention. The opportunities that felt out of reach begin to come your way, not because you forced them, but because you aligned with them. Let's look at the psychological side of this. When you stop chasing, you create a sense of scarcity around your time and attention. People begin to realize that your energy isn't something they can take for granted. And here's where the dynamic flips. Instead of you trying to win their approval, they start trying to earn yours. It's not about manipulation, it's about showing others that you value yourself enough to set boundaries. And when you set those boundaries, you teach others to respect you. Now let's talk about the relationships in your life. When you stop chasing, you make room for the right people to come in. You stop holding on to those who don't value you and create space for those who genuinely care. It's like clearing out a cluttered closet. Once you let go of what doesn't serve you, you find what truly fits. The people who come into your life now are there because they want to be, not because you begged them to stay. But here's the most powerful transformation. When you stop chasing, you rediscover your own worth. You realize that you were never incomplete. You were never missing anything. The love, respect, and validation you were chasing from others were things you've always had the ability to give yourself. And once you see this, it changes everything. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself to anyone because you know your value doesn't depend on their approval. This is where Stoicism shines. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you stop chasing, you embody this principle. You take control of your thoughts, your choices, and your emotions. And the irony is, when you stop trying to control others, you end up influencing them in the most natural, effortless way. So, what happens when you stop chasing? You grow, you thrive, you attract. You become the person you were always meant to be, someone who stands confidently in their own power, unshaken by the opinions or actions of others. If this is resonating with you, take a moment to celebrate this realization. Like this video to affirm your decision to stop chasing and start choosing yourself, and drop this phrase in the comments, "I am whole and complete." Write it, own it, and let it guide you as you move forward. Now that you've stopped chasing and started focusing on yourself, something incredible begins to happen. You unlock a level of empowerment that changes everything. This is the power of self-worth, the realization that you are enough exactly as you are, without needing anyone else to validate it. And once you embrace this truth, your life will never be the same. Let's start with your mindset. When you value yourself, your perspective on relationships and opportunities shifts completely. You're no longer operating from a place of fear or scarcity. Instead of worrying about losing people or missing out, you trust that what's meant for you will come. This trust doesn't make you passive, it makes you powerful. It allows you to approach life with confidence, knowing that your worth isn't determined by external circumstances. Here's where the magic happens. When you embody self-worth, you stop settling. You no longer accept half-hearted efforts, one-sided relationships, or situations that drain you. Instead, you set higher standards, not out of arrogance, but out of respect for yourself. And when you raise your standards, you inspire others to rise to meet them. You're no longer chasing approval, you're commanding respect. Let's connect this to Stoicism. The Stoics believed that our true value lies within, not in the opinions of others or the outcomes of external events. Epictetus said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." This means understanding your intrinsic worth and living in alignment with it. When you know who you are, you stop compromising your values to fit into someone else's expectations. Instead, you live authentically, and that authenticity is where true power lies. This empowerment doesn't just affect your relationships, it transforms every area of your life. Professionally, you stop fearing rejection because you know it doesn't define you. Instead, you pursue opportunities with confidence, focusing on what you bring to the table. Personally, you attract people who respect and value you because they can see that you respect and value yourself. And within yourself, you find a sense of peace that no external validation could ever provide. Think about it. When you're operating from a place of self-worth, you become unstoppable. You walk into a room, not needing to prove anything because you already know your value. You're no longer trying to impress anyone. You're simply being yourself. And that energy, it's magnetic. People can't help but be drawn to someone who is so secure in who they are. But here's the most important part. Self-worth isn't just about attracting the right people or opportunities. It's about creating a life that feels fulfilling on your own terms. When you value yourself, you stop waiting for others to give you permission to live fully. You take ownership of your happiness, your success, and your growth. And that's the ultimate empowerment. Let me ask you this. Are you ready to fully embrace your self-worth? If you are, take a moment to affirm it. Like this video to declare your commitment to valuing yourself, and type this empowering phrase in the comments, "I am the source of my own strength." Let it be a reminder of the incredible power you hold when you choose yourself first. You've made it this far, and that means you're ready for the final step, putting everything we've talked about into action. Let's bring it all together. First, remember this: chasing is a waste of your energy. Whether it's a person, a relationship, or even success, the harder you push, the more it slips away. Why? Because chasing stems from a mindset of lack, a belief that you need something or someone outside of yourself to feel complete. But here's the truth: you are already enough. You don't need to run after anyone or anything to prove your worth. When you stop chasing, you reclaim your power. You start focusing on what you can control, yourself. You shift your energy inward, investing it in your growth, your peace, and your purpose. And in doing so, you align yourself with the things and the people that are meant for you. You become magnetic, not because you're trying to attract, but because you're simply being your best self. The key to all of this lies in embracing the principles we've explored. Let go of what you can't control. Remember Epictetus's wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Focus on your thoughts, your actions, and your mindset. Harness the power of indifference. Let go of the need for validation or approval from others. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Be like the rock that waves crash over. It stands unmoved." Value yourself first. Set your standards, protect your energy, and live authentically. When you do, you attract people and opportunities that align with your worth. Now, I want you to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, am I ready to stop chasing and start living for myself? If your answer is yes, take this as your moment to commit. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it won't happen overnight. But every small step you take toward choosing yourself is a step toward freedom, confidence, and fulfillment. Here's your final challenge. Take action. Like this video right now to show your commitment to this journey, and type this phrase in the comments, "I stand in my power." By doing this, you're not just engaging with this content, you're declaring something bold and transformative. You're saying, "I choose myself. I choose my peace. I choose my worth." And before you go, make sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Here at Stoic Blessing, we're building a community of empowered, like-minded people who are committed to living with purpose, self-worth, and resilience. Don't miss out. This is just the beginning. You've already started the journey. Now it's time to live it. Remember, you don't need to chase anyone or anything. The more you focus on being your best self, the more life aligns with you. You are the source of your own strength. You are whole and complete, and you've got this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong, stay grounded, and keep standing in your power.